I get what you're saying, but you're talking about two different people attacking one. Is that right? Ganking.
Yeah, ganking. Yeah.
Well, okay,
and that's what we're gonna see most of for Elden Ring.
Oh God, the fucking gank brigade.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not even complaining.
No, I don't either. That's
that's just like if that's gonna be exactly, and if that's gonna be like with the meta, and that's when people are approaching, I want to at least not have that big of a disadvantage. Where like if I get the misfortune of getting stuck in between a rock or something like that, I'm just dead. Like it's a death sentence for me.
So my thing with it is that unfortunately it's kind of always been like that. Even when it's 2 against 2 or 2 against 1.
I have to disagree with you because there's actually been clips I have personally that I've been in really sticky situations in between like a rock or something, and then I'm able to roll out when I'm getting hit.
In Dark Souls. Okay, you know what? Now that I think about it, I've been in situations like that myself.
So I have a question.
I can't really say what the true extent of it because I haven't played the PvP myself, so I can't say to what extent it exists. So I really don't know. It's based on the footage I've seen.
Do you know, Ty, if you're able to like jump out of situations like that? Because if I'm not mistaken, jumping's faster than rolling, and it has iframes.
That's true. I think they're changing how do I put this? I think they're changing on how to get out of sticky situations. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I saw
jumping is going to be because jumping has iframes, if I've heard correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, something I would like to really go into, we were talking about negative things about Elden Ring. The only real complaint that I have, right, is it seems to have some real performance issues on consoles.
On consoles?
I've heard PC.
Yeah, PC.
Everyone else is saying PC, but Kiernan's...
But I also heard the really big PC game reviewer that reviews specs and for games and stuff that's really prevalent on YouTube. And Dynamical reached out to them and told them to hold back on their review of Elden Ring.
I heard about that.
Yeah, Digital Foundry.
They wanted to hold back on performance only because the day one patch was going to address that, and that rating performance based off what was the pre-release build of the game would not be honest to the customer experience.
No, that is totally fair, by the way.
That means the experience that we're going to get.
It's probably going to be better.
It's going to be a little bit better. Yeah.
And it's true, it just today a patch came through for Elden Ring.
Nice.
Actually, now that I think about it on Steam, when I was finished downloading it this morning, I saw that it was downloading the game, and then I'm assuming an update.
Yeah.
Well, so.
And so that is something that might be maybe we'll have to see. But I know that if they don't significantly improve the performance from the network test, then it will be in a pretty rough state.
No, I doubt they'll get to that point.
Because in the network test, it couldn't even maintain a solid 60 on PS5 or Series X in performance mode when there was like literally nothing happening.
Yeah, that was fairly old. When usually the optimization for games will come as the very, very last thing. So it's been a couple months now. I would hope that it's a little better than the network test, especially with the day one patch. But I guess we'll see. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Because it won't ever be unplayable. It's not like gonna ruin the game. But if you can't get even a consistent 60 in next gen on frame rate mode, that will be kind of disappointing.
They do have a bit of a track record for unoptimal technical stuff. So
at launch.
Yeah, that is true. I agree. But there's the whole thing. I figured that with Elden Ring being a PS4 game at heart, PS5 and Series X should just blitz it at 60. You know what I'm saying?
From a lot of reviews I've seen, actually, a lot of those performance issues happened, however, only in the open world. When you're in bosses or in, like, the Legacy dungeons or in, like, the catacombs and stuff, it's, like, smooth 60 for basically every version. At least from what I was watching. I've been binging a lot of these reviews for PC and they're saying that the stuttering probably has something to do, like on PC, stuttering probably has something to do with the memory leak and how it's not fully utilizing all the hardware, which would actually explain a lot. And then on console, it was the difference between like performance mode and whatnot in the open world, which I get the open world's most of the game, but that's also the part of the game where you're the least impacted by performance, I feel.
Yeah, I see that. I see what you're saying. But at the end of the day, though, I'm just saying, like, they're on systems that are order of magnitude better. So I feel like if it doesn't run well, that really is kind of on FromSoft. And you always got to push people to do better. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I actually think like blind fanboyism gets a little out of hand for a lot of stuff. Like it's always good to recognize where even your favorite stuff might fall.
Yeah, because people who say that the Souls games don't have any flaws get really on my fucking nerves.
Sure.
And that's a really good point that you guys bring that up, because I was going to ask, what do you feel that Miyazaki lacks?
Technical expertise. That's his greatest weakness, if you ask me.
I mean, I don't think that's his weakness so much as the studio, but sure.
What do you mean
That's
by
not his.
technical
That's
expertise?
FromSoft.
Well, okay, so almost all of the Souls games have poor frame pacing, right? Poor frame pacing is actually pretty easily fixed. There's been a couple of games in the past, like Destiny, when it first launched had it, and they fixed it with one patch. So I'm just trying to figure out why, like, bad frame pacing is in nearly all FromSoft games, when we've seen that it actually can be changed with just a little bit of know-how. Like, I'm sure the
I'm not familiar with what that term is. What is frame?
Okay, so if you have a game that runs at 30 frames a second, it will update 30 frames a second, or usually 33 milliseconds, okay? The frames are delivered consistently in like 99% of games. When a game has bad frame pacing, the frames are issued out unevenly, and it can cause the game to feel like it's lagging and being jerky when it's not. Bloodborne had a really bad problem with that. Half the time in that game, when you felt an FPS drop, it wasn't an actual frame rate drop. It was bad frame pacing. Same with Dark Souls 3.
I wasn't aware of this problem.
Yeah, it's actually something they're pretty much known for. It's like if a drummer hit all of the notes in their section of the song, but they hit them all in the first half. Like they're off timing. Is essentially what drum is.
And
You guys,
I guess
you guys
something
believe
I've never
that's-
really noticed.
Yeah, I never really noticed either, because most of the time I've been playing on PlayStation. So, do you guys feel like that's his only weakness as a creator?
that's
I think a lot of it comes down to personal taste. Like there are a lot of types of games that Miyazaki would not be good at making, but he also just doesn't make them, right?
exactly. He knows what he's good at.
But I mean specifically in the open world sense.
Won't to say because of course we don't have our hands on the game yet. For me, I think a lot of people. For me, basically the answer is no. I'm a big fan of what he does, down to the way that he incorporates story into his games very passively. I like that. A lot of people don't. They feel like it's kind of obtuse and
I like to call that the Metroid Prime method, because that was the first game I ever played that did a story like that.
Sure, yeah. For me, basically no.
Yeah, I think I hate to sound cliche, but I really is one of his biggest strengths, and that's the fact that he's just a pure auteur. Like he's steady as a rock. He's like very much in his ways for how he does things. And
Oh, yeah.
how, like when you could tell Miyazaki's style. Like the minute like I guess that's part of like I hate to rag on DS2 again, but like why it feels so out of place is because it like something's missing, and it could be world design, it could be whatever, but like with Miyazaki, the fact that he doesn't change, he doesn't cave in, and he kind of does things his own way is a negative, because games can be more approachable. There can be colorblind accessibility options. There can be all sorts of shit. Not an easy mode. But like,
I absolutely agree there. There are things he could do to help disable people without doing an easy mode.
I know. I was just that was a joke. But the fact that he refuses to do these things is a positive. It's a positive in my opinion, because like I know what I'm gonna get, and I like what I'm gonna get.
Yeah,
and
you-
I love the way he does it. And it's
You don't have to wonder what you're in for.
It's very much a negative.
That's what makes him stands out. His way is very unique, and that's why people like it so much. I like his method.
Yeah, same. He's kind of reminds me of Tarantino, in the sense that like not for everybody, but Tarantino fans, you can tell they're Tarantino fans.
Yeah, you can tell they're Tarantino fans. I'm a huge fucking Tarantino fan, admittedly.
Yeah, like point proven. Like
I don't think Tarantino's ever made a bad movie.
like when you have a title scroll that's just like a regular scene, and then like all of a sudden it just like pops in that one font he uses all the time in the color yellow passively as characters are just going about their day, and it randomly cuts to like someone's shoes. Like that's a Tarantino film. Like that's like you can tell. When you come across an NPC who is written with subtitles that have different laughs for each character, that's a Miyazaki game.
It's a good way to put it.
Well, here's something. So we all pretty much assume that there's going to be multiple narrative paths in Elden Ring and probably multiple endings. That's not been confirmed, but it's pretty much been the case in every other fucking game. So I'm going to say it's probably going to be multiple endings. Would you go the good route or the bad route the first time through? Would you go light or dark?
How do we know that there is a good or bad?
I'll go the route. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
Either route, either way, I've never really been focused on the route that I take. I just do the actions and like, oh, okay. Maybe I'll try to win, and then I'll see what route I take it, and then I'll try to take an alternate route.
Oh, that makes sense.
Usually I'm not too focused.
The Dark Sigil ending for DS3.
I'll reframe your question, and I'll reframe your question a little bit so I can answer it a little bit more clearly. I feel like you're asking me what kind of morality choices do I usually make in a kind of game like this, and I kind of reminds me back when you play Fallout, and you have the choice to make like your character a more moral person or more evil person. And in that case, I always went with the evil option, the morally evil options, the stuff that causes the most havoc. I always really loved that kind of thing. And I did like those options in Dark Souls games, but I was not always so adept in figuring out how to make it happen.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I usually tend to go.
Like, oh, you want the evil option in Elden Ring. Okay, so how are you going to go about that? What NPCs are you going to talk to? Like, nobody knows anything about the game. You have to be kind of like really knowledgeable about how the story plays out. You have to pay a lot of attention. There's a lot of attention to detail. Yeah, to make choices.
Things, dude.
I also
Yeah, and that's the only thing I would say about that.
I also feel like boiling it down to like the good option and the evil option is just a little bit reductive, because I think one of the cool things
Not as easy in this game.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things once you dig into the Dark Souls, a bit more after like the initial playthrough or whatever, is you start to realize the ramifications of like the dark ending versus the maintaining the light sort of thing.
Yep.
Is like there's good and negatives to both. Like it's not just a purely good or evil thing. Like you can argue for either one to be kind of like the morally superior choice.
that is true. I will say, yeah, Dark Souls 3, especially the DLC for Dark Souls 3 really does recontextualize what the Age of Dark actually means.
So speaking of the Age of Dark, I want to talk about the Age of Dark with Dark Souls 3. And I don't mean the story. I mean the period at the game actually became dark and really kind of just a bad place for me. And that's when the PvP meta tipped. And the PvP meta tipped somewhere along, I think it was somewhere around like 2018, where it's just like the game was so pervasive with try-hard PvP players that it almost wasn't fun. Almost. Like I can see for a casual player, it wouldn't be really fun. Yeah, so you guys knowing this, you think, would that affect your experience? If just right when the game came out, people were just super tryhards and they were just like super, everybody was trying to, forget the term, when you go and you get a lot of stuff really early game just to fight people early game.
It's a twink.
So
I can't really comment on that because, as I've stated before, I'm not big on PvP. I usually just come for the PvE.
So, but I mean, like,
no matter where,
that's what I'm saying.
It's going to happen right at the base, at the beginning of the game. It's going to happen. I know it is.
So, if PvP was as toxic as it is in Dark Souls 3, would that affect your experience?
Probably a little bit. I would be a little annoyed that people would already try to find the meta just for the sake of ruining other people's experience. But
do you think that's not going to happen?
No, I think it will happen. I don't think it's going to happen often, at least not at first. Maybe a month or two into it, it's going to be pretty perfect.
Another thing,
because I feel like one of the most beautiful times of the game is like when everybody's still figuring out how to play.
It's
getting it on the ground floor.
Exactly.
Another thing, does anybody know if there's like a hollowing equivalent in Elden Ring?
No clue.
I will say, as somebody that doesn't do PvP,
I do have an answer.
Oh, go ahead, please.
So from the reviews I've seen,
Without spoiling too much.
Without spoiling too much, you know how in Dark Souls 3, when you die and then like it's whatever, you have the same health, but then when you get an Ember,
Oh, okay, so like you can buff yourself up.
It's not the default, like you don't. Yeah, from without spoiling anything, there is a similar thing from the reviews I've seen.
Okay, that's all you need to say.
If you're dying, you get rewarded for succeeding.
Actually, I think I've seen what you're talking about. I've seen like I don't know what it's called, but I've seen it happen. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I just know it's a spoiler, and so that's why I'm not like saying what it is. But in terms of the mechanic, there is an empowered state, but there's not a
depowered state.
There's not a nerfed state.
I will also say this. Here's something I am super curious. This is more of a question about the whole fucking series. I want to know what is your favorite and your least favorite boss fight in the entire series, and why?
That's a hard one.
That's tough.
That's real tough.
Nameless King.
Best or worst?
Your least best?
Definitely best.
I'd have to agree with you on
Technically,
that.
like, Pinwheel isn't really a boss fight.
Pinwheel's a fucking joke.
Like, he's funny. Like, I like Pinwheel. Like he's just a guy.
Yeah, you're fighting him and you're like, oh, he's trying.
When it comes to this question, I usually base off of like how much enjoyment I get out of the fight.
Yeah.
So Pinwheel, I would put it at the bottom for the sake of like he's funny. I think he's amusing at least. He's not a horrible boss.
Okay, I'll put my 2 cents in there, and I believe the best fight in all of From Software to this day is what was his name? Moonlight Greatsword from Bloodborne.
Ludwig, the accursed.
Ludwig, yeah, Ludwig. Because I played the first time, and I was just the cutscene, and when I realized when you realize the significance of the cutscene and how it ties together with the whole game, you're just blown away. So that's my most favorite.
I didn't even play the game, and I saw that fight play out. It was a very emotional.
Very emotional cutscene. And just real quick, the least favorite, Covetous Demon from Dark Souls 2. Just really boring and just really.
You know what? I agree with that. That was probably the least enjoyable.
Yeah, it was like I'm fighting Jabba the Hutt.
Rom, the vacuous spider.
Oh, I love Rom. Oh, don't hate on Rom.
I think Rom's cute.
Lore-wise, Rom is great.
What I love about Rom is he's so submissive and he's vacuous. It goes along with the lore, and I love how it brings you into that new world when you go to fight him. I forgot the lore of how that works, but like
The place you fight him looks beautiful though.
yeah.
I just
If
don't
you're talking
like
about
the
boss
idea of
mechanics
the,
in general, yeah, we can put Rom in there.
Okay,
Cane sword and my secondary weapon was also the stake driver.
Oh, I'm
and so
I'm so sorry. That sounds agonizing.
I got used to just charging R2 and annihilating bosses, and then I go to fight this fucking spider, and I gotta like equip like a different weapon with like way weaker, just so that I can survive the spider onslaught. Also, I don't know if this counts. I'm gonna expose myself, but you know how after you defeat Rom and like the world goes all dark and twilight, and you see all the Cthulhu monsters. When you go back to Odin Chapel and there's that one hunter with like the Murakumo, I think, or whatever, like with the blood shit. For some reason, that guy like was way harder than any of the bosses I fought.
Hardest boss.
Yeah. Doesn't he have a boss health bar, does he?
I don't think so. He's just a dude.
Yeah.
So my least favorite boss was the Bed of Chaos, I think, for sure.
oh yeah, fuck that boss.
That's a fair one to put.
Yeah,
I've never fought the Bed of
biggest
Chaos.
Really? Wait, what?
Yeah, I've never beaten Dark Souls 1 actually. I've played it, but I've never beaten.
To
But I've
me,
heard
it's
it's
like
horrible.
when they try to do a gimmick boss, but the jankiness just overpowers everything else, like times infinity. Where it's like you're not fighting the boss, you're fighting the controls and like the gameplay style. It's kind of miserable.
Yeah, I agree.
Perspective, it's the only boss in the Souls game that I can think of where when you die and respawn, it stays with the current amount of damage it had when you died.
Oh really?
I feel like that's because they realized that it was shit.
Like, that's them admitting, like, yeah, we fucked up with this one.
Yeah, like you guys can have a free pass.
Yeah.
If I had to choose two bosses, mine are both gonna be Dark Souls 3 because that's my favorite, and I haven't really played a lot of the other ones. My favorite one would actually be Madir, that giant dark dragon.
Yeah.
that's a good
I
one.
actually a lot of people hated him, but I actually fell in love with him.
Yeah, he was a good boss. He was a really well-designed boss.
He was
Probably
frustrating.
one of the most
It was-
well-designed dragons I've fought in a video
Oh my
game.
god, that boss!
Yeah.
The first time I beat him, it was just a spectacle. But
Yeah.
uh,
I've only
my
beat him
least
like a handful of times, honestly, because he's just so annoying to fight. Well, he's not even
I agree.
annoying, he's just frustrating.
I agree with you on that. He's
Yeah.
annoying, but he's still my favorite.
Okay, so
My least favorite one is the Cursed Great Wood. I hate the boss.
I wasn't thrilled about that boss, but I wouldn't say it was the worst. I thought the way the floor dropped out was pretty fucking sick.
That's the only
I
good
did
part.
like that too. I did like that too.
That was literally like a holy shit, what?
You don't think it's funny when he falls on his back?
No, I think he's.
I think it's kind of fun.
I find him to be a chore every playthrough I go through.
Yeah,
I think
for
it's
sure.
kind of fun because there's not a ton of games and a ton of From Software games where it's based on purely just targeting. You know, we're just like that boss gimmick, oh, target these spots, and they don't have a lot of, and I'm happy with that. But it's just it's fun because they just do one in there, and it's super gimmicky. I won't.
Okay,
Super gimmicky.
for me,
Time where I beat him without the floor.
Oh yeah, because if you roll to a certain part of the arena, he'll just drop down and you won't die.
Well, no, like even without that, like I just never transitioned. Like broke. He just
wow, that's really interesting.
I just took down his whole health bar without breaking the floor one time.
Pretty cool, actually. I wish I could do that.
I would say, talking about my favorite and my least favorite boss, I would start with my least favorite. It would either be the Ancient Dragon from Dark Souls 2 or fucking Nadir from Dark Souls 3.
Oh, I love the Ancient Dragon. I just love how hard he was to fight.
But he's hard in a way that's just tedious. It's just slowly chipping away.
Yes, I really love the idea of extra bosses in a game that you don't have to fight, but if you choose to fight, it's gonna be a chore. Like you're gonna have to sit down.
I love that.
Yeah, not even Nameless King, because Nameless King is a boss like you're intended. Well, not intended to fight.
No, he's
but
not.
I mean like super hard bosses that you're gonna be in for one if you choose to fight, and they make it so optional because it's so difficult. And the only example of this I can think of, if you guys played Borderlands, and then in Borderlands they had all these extra like super hard bosses that you could fight. Like I remember they had like this worm. You remember that worm that had like almost a million HP?
Oh, you're talking about Chromorax?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Yeah, just like bosses like that.
I don't remember his name. I don't remember his actual name. It's like something the invulnerable. And he was
Chromorax the Invincible.
Yeah, I love those pain in the asses bosses that most people
yes,
won't.
sorry.
That most people won't choose to fight because they're like, oh, that's gonna be such a pain in the ass, and they give you like a terrible reward. But I just like it. Like, oh yeah, I beat that boss, and it took me forever to do it. From Dark Souls 2, the King Vindrick, not Vindrick. Is it Vindrick? The one who's just wandering around with the greatsword?
No, that's King Vindrick, yeah.
Yeah. And it takes forever to kill him, and most people... I didn't kill him. I was like, it's taking forever.
I will say this, okay, favorite-wise, it's really tough, but in terms of the sheer enjoyment of the actual battle, I have to say my favorite boss battle in the whole series is either Old King Allant or Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower.
I actually never played Demon's Souls, now I think about it.
Oh, come on!
I can't get a PS5 to save my life,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, me neither.
And I'm not gonna emulate that shit.
No, definitely not.
Okay, well, you play Dark Souls 3, right?
Yeah.
You've beaten it?
Yeah.
You know Pontiff Sullivan?
Yeah.
He was heavily inspired by Old King Allant.
Oh, wow, that's really cool, actually.
In fact, half of Dark Souls 3...
Slashes and unending movesets.
Yeah. Half of Dark Souls 3 is a homage to Demon Souls.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Like, Irithyll Dungeon is a homage to the Tower of Latria. The Firekeeper in Dark Souls 3, her line when you level up is a paraphrase of the same thing they said in Demon Souls. She's played by the same voice actor. The layout of Firelink Shrine...
Voice actress, no way.
No, it is the same voice actor. The same chick that plays the Maiden in Black plays the Firekeeper in Dark Souls 3.
I love the Maiden in Black. I don't really like the Firekeeper in DS3.
And she also plays the voice of the doll in Bloodborne.
I
think she was the doll. Doll's height.
really like the doll.
She's capable of doing...
all these different games, speaking of Bloodborne, Dark Souls 2, these are all fantastic games, and each one of them has been a favorite for somebody. But with Elden Ring, with all the hype that they generated, do you think it has to be the best From Software game?
I think it will wind up being my favorite, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of reviews saying it's taken their number one spot on their list.
I absolutely love open worlds, and I absolutely love Souls games, so the merging of the two is just fucking awesome to me.
Yeah, if we're saying personally, I think so. It seems like it's basically a very well-realized norm of what they set out to do. I think there's room for like aesthetics, though. I wouldn't blame anyone for liking the vibe of Bloodborne and what that has to offer.
Yeah, that is a large part of the reason why I found a lot of people like Bloodborne. They just love the aesthetic.
Yeah, or even like the aesthetic of the mechanics as well. Even just like I really like rally. I really like just
right. Just encouraging you to get up in their fucking face instead of retreating.
Yeah.
Plus, the trick weapons are just fucking awesome.
Yeah, I did like that Victorian era vibe.
My only problem with Bloodborne, and I've said this before, is while I absolutely adore Bloodborne, it probably has the least environmental variety of any of the games, and I do think that is a weakness.
I think my biggest, I love Bloodborne, but I think my biggest gripe is actually a really petty one, and it's that you can create a Bloodborne item name generator. You just pick from this list, pick your birth date, and your first letter of your first name, and add blood in front of it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna collect that blood gem. I'm gonna collect that blood, cold dew blood.
Yeah, you think they go too far? You think they go too far with the blood theme?
Blood. Bloody hell.
It is a very bloody game. It is a very bloody game.
Wonderful game though. I love that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to take the conversation a little bit outside of Elden Ring, just a little bit. And speaking of outside of Elden Ring, I know all of us are just going to be completely enamored and completely absolved by the game that is Elden Ring. But what do you feel like is going to interrupt your scheduling and your everyday life? Like you already has been.
It's hard. He destroyed everything. I've got nothing left. My kids left me.
I work at 8 to 4. I'm free afterwards.
Yeah,
that's why I took a week off so it doesn't destroy my life.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's the proper thing to do. You schedule that shit in advance.
I did.
It's gonna sound really dumb, but I actually might sign up for getting working at a gym account or
It's not dumb at all. I'm
the
signed up
idea
for
of
YMCA.
CrossFit being suggested to me.
No, that's really smart.
Management
That's
stuff.
really smart. Yeah.
And I know it's expensive, but I feel like I could be spending my money a little bit better. So partially because of Elden Ring, because I know I'm gonna get fat. Just sitting on my ass.
Yeah.
Ahead of time. Yeah, you're being.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually pretty good at staying in shape. I have a pretty good fitness regimen. I do about 500 crunches a day.
That's nice. That's really good.
I plan to, whenever I die in Elden Ring, or implement some kind of system where I gotta do some form of
Push-ups for
workout.
each death.
I tell you what, dude, if you want to get really fucking masochistic,
No, not
You're
that.
Drinking every time I die.
That's a good one.
All that tarnished body.
Then you can lose the water weight when you grow
The
up.
tarnished body.
if you want to be really masochistic, dude, force yourself to have a fucking warhead every time you die.
Oh, hell no.
You will kill yourself, dude. Your mouth will fucking explode.
Yeah, my tongue will actually dry out. It would probably be worse my tongue. Yeah.
And I love warheads, but
Subreddit was a screenshot of the male wretch, and the caption was, "Is he natty though?" Natty.
Yeah.
And someone responds "As a personal trainer, this is totally 100% attainable using."
With a club and a plank fighting eye-limbed, great axe-wielding giants, dude, you're gonna get jacked. You're absolutely. You're just running around fighting all day and swinging that club, yeah, you're absolutely gonna get jacked. Even riding a horse takes so much endurance. A lot of people don't even realize.
yeah, seriously, you need a train to ride a horse. You can't just get on one.
Yeah, riding a horse takes so much focus and endurance. You're gonna get jacked. If you had the tarnished workout, each one of us would be super jacked. I don't want the workout because that's a lot of. I don't want to do that. I don't want the workout.
Well, that's kind of the reason why I was thinking of doing CrossFit, just because from what I didn't even know what it was before. I just seen the memes, but I had some of my coworkers do it, and apparently it's really short, 15 to 20 minute sessions. They're at the end, they kick your ass, but it's a very efficient way of working out, especially if you're busy or you want to make time for things, and it kind of works because I have to do PT testing for my job, and so if I over prepare, that's not a bad thing, So.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Particularly useful because it focuses on specific muscle groups, and then it focuses on working each one of those muscle groups. And when a lot of people work out, if you're weightlifting a lot, then you'll isolate certain muscle groups that they'll become really present if you're a runner or something. So it's good that they address each one of those.
Let me,
groups.
I know a little bit about muscle building and all that. I'm not like an expert, but I've talked to bodybuilders and shit. When it comes to, this is a misconception that people have. When it comes to working out and getting fit, people think that it's about how much you do, when in actuality it's about getting your heart rate up. And so, in a lot of times, it actually is more effective to do one really strong exercise in a quick burst than do like something that tests your endurance.
Yeah, that's what they were telling me. And like they also talk about how like CrossFit is specifically just useful exercises. Like you don't do any sit-ups in CrossFit because like how often do you sit up in real life? You like twice when you get up and get out of bed. Like and that like it's mostly working on like practical muscle groups and stuff. And I think that's actually something that's really appealing to me. Also, like I know like those CrossFit guys, they get jacked, but they don't get bulky. You know, like I want to look like
lean
a
muscle. Lean muscle.
Like if I'm gonna look like a JoJo's character, I'm gonna look like Jolie. Like,
Yeah, you don't want to fucking.
like, I'm not trying to.
No.
I'm not trying to be a.
You don't want to get fucking jacked like Arnie.
Hey guys, you guys heard me say that I plan on drinking when I die, right?
No, hell yeah, I love that Estes shot.
I've already got my fridge, and I'm gonna mix some alcohol. Great.
Estes, that's your Estes right there.
Yeah, that's my Estes flask, bro.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you had like a? Can you imagine if you had like a Dark Souls Bloodborne crossover and they were like comparing shit? And he's like, "How do you heal? I just take a sip from this flask because I really have to stab a fucking blood vial in my leg." You're sitting here drinking Sunny D and I'm using an EpiPen?
Oh yeah, because they have the Estes soup in Dark Souls 3. You're right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's one of my favorite details. Is that in the item description for Estes, it says that like this is a beloved soup amongst the undead, and only when you're fighting other like undead like hollow characters, if you back off, they'll drink Estes, and like that's how they heal. It's only against undead. Because like it's an undead recipe, which I think is hilarious. It's like,
I wonder what happened to a regular person try to drink it. Would they die?
I don't know. It's just not their style. It's like,
don't
you know,
like
if I gave you borscht, you'd be all like, the fuck is this? It's sour.
Yeah, everyone's got their tastes.
I'm not a big fan of clam chowder. So,
Yeah, I have to agree.
Are you guys playing any games right now?
I'm actually playing Dark Souls 3 as we speak.
Really? So nobody's not playing I'm playing Terraria.
I'm playing a mod, if that makes a difference. I'm playing the Convergence.
I was playing Sekiro earlier, and now I'm playing Dark Souls.
I can't play anything that's too like Dark Souls right now. I can't even touch it. I can't touch anything that's like From Software. The only thing I can touch that's like From Software is Elden Ring. That's why I can't play anything that's closely. I was playing Dark Souls like a month ago, but I can't play it anymore.
So my thought process is like I'm trying to get a lot of like the fighting is going to be similar to Dark Souls 3, not identical but similar. So I'm like trying to get my muscle memory back, if that makes sense.
That's smart. That is smart.
Yeah, get back, get in the game.
No, I probably am, but I just want the experience to be so far away from Dark Souls. Like I want to.
Everyone's got their approach to it. It makes sense.
Yeah, my only reasoning why is because I feel like if you want to get like prepared for Elden Ring, it might be better to actually play Sekiro, just because of the control scheme.
Yeah, you now use triangle to pick up items.
Dark Souls 3, and then next thing you know, you're gonna be like jumping to pick up items.
Jump off the ledge. Fuck!
That's a really good point, actually.
You know, also on top of that, like you're not gonna with Sekiro, it's got like jumping to avoid low attacks. That's not a thing you could do in Dark Souls. So like that might not be something you think of. Or you also have DS3. You can rely on R1s, which we've seen throughout like the footage that's shown that like R1s are not necessarily the best way to approach it. Also, Elden Ring has the posture system.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I consider.
Let me ask you guys a really important question. How do you plan on celebrating Elden Ring Day tomorrow, a national holiday?
By playing it.
But before the video comes out, before the game comes out, nobody's gonna make a cake. Do you guys have any trees or anything that you set up for Elden Ring?
I actually am taking care of a bonsai. It hasn't sprouted
that's
yet.
Really nice.
I would love to do a bonsai. Is it complicated?
It's been like 2 months and I have barely a sprout.
Oh wow!
So it's just a really lengthy experience.
Yeah, like I've been watering this thing and giving it sunlight, and I see the faintest of sprouts, but I'm not seeing a tree yet. This is like, it barely looks like grass. It's a pot of dirt. It's Alexander. It's the Iron Fist.
Oh wow, that's really nice. That's really cute. I'm gonna make some brownies, some frosted brownies for Elden Ring Day,
Nice.
and put Elden Ring Day on it.
I'm not really making anything. I don't really have anything to make. I did prepare though. I got a monster just for the occasion. I'm gonna crack that bitch open.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a special day.
I lied.
Don't
I brought a
forget.
router.
Oh, you brought a router. Nice.
I might drink a little before we start.
It's a special day. It's literally a holiday occasion.
I need
sure
to
a lot of us haven't felt like this since Christmas.
I'll need to make my Estus potion to get me started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do for that.
It's like, dude, are you okay? You're stumbling around. It's like, I'm high as fuck on this Estus.
That reminds me, I need to buy alcohol.
What
You're gonna drink without the booze?
What console are you guys all playing on?
PC.
PS5.
Well, I'm gonna hop on PC. I'm gonna hop on PC for that 6 a.m. release, but I'm probably gonna hop on PS4 afterwards.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So the reason why I got a new router is because I have great download speeds, and I actually have a pretty stable connection. It's just that for some reason with Xfinity, I have a buffer bloat issue, which doesn't really matter much for gameplay. It mostly matters for when I'm trying to stream. Streaming to Twitch is fine, but streaming to Discord, I get like 8 frames a second, which makes no sense to me.
Oh, speaking of streams, does everybody want to say what your Twitches are or your streams? What do you guys are doing? Yeah.
Twitch.tv/CallinTheKenpai.
Only Kenpai.
I mostly play fighting games.
Okay. Anybody else?
Twitch/I'm not streaming.
Okay. You guys got a username.
Not a username.
On Twitch, I'm Kiernan Reese, and on YouTube, yeah, because Twitch is very restrictive about what you can and can't name yourself. On YouTube, it's Kiernan Reese, the obsessive compulsive gamer.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know you could get that many characters on YouTube. That's cool.
Yeah, holy shit.
No, well, I call myself Kiernan Reese, the O.C.G.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
But that's what it is because without sounding getting depressed or anything, I actually do have pretty bad OCD.
Oh, okay.
I'm what you would call autistic. That's like not even a joke, by the way. That's like serious. I that sounded weird as it came out. I'm like legit autistic.
No, yeah, I get why you'd have to make that serious because a lot of people would think that would be a joke. So I do understand the necessity of that. Speaking of streams, do you guys plan on watching any kind of streams, or like you're gonna?
No, not until I play through the game.
No, yeah, I'm gonna.
Woolly Versus, also I believe Batividia and Iron Pineapple.
I'm going to be streaming the fuck out of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I may watch Buddy. That's probably the only
And are you guys not planning on watching any kind of guides?
No, definitely not.
Kick it blind.
The only type of thing I might do is I'm really anal about like having the map unfogged, so I might look up where the map fragments are, but that's about it.
I may look up like guides on like maybe super specific things if I'm stumped about it, maybe like a mechanic I don't understand, but other than that, probably not.
Because I
I just want to be a punch girl, so I want to find like fist weapons, but that's it.
like I told you guys just now that I
Specific guides, if anything.
yeah. I told you guys that I have OCD, and seeing an uncompleted map like that actually does fuck with my OCD, so...
No, I get that. So, what do you guys think will games that you've seen, any future IPs that you're excited for?
Future IP.
Prime 4. It's the Elder Scrolls.
So yeah, whenever the fuck that comes out.
Yeah, that's the good one.
Silksong. Hey, if we could survive the Great Halloween and the Whooperfest and everything, I think that
We'll make it to
Silksong's
Yeah,
gonna
okay,
happen.
Silksong is nothing compared to Dragon's Dogma 2.
Which, by the way, just so you guys know...
Star Citizen, I think it's called. Star Maiden, Star Citizen.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
That's barely a thing.
Just so you guys know, Dragon's Dogma 2 is in development. That is confirmed. It is happening. Who knows when, but it's happening.
Yeah, we're like where we were with Elden Ring like 2 years ago. We're like, oh yeah, it's a project.
Is it by the same people or is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the RE team actually, Capcom.
I love Dragon's Dogma.
I want to say this. Does anybody anybody remember? Original project by the name of Deep Down that never got finished?
Oh yes.
Yes, Deep Down.
I remember murmurs of it, but what was it?
It's supposed to be Capcom's next big game.
Yeah, it was a big high fantasy game. Like it had like really big graphics. The graphical component was going to be a big part of the game.
It used like a brand new engine.
Not Dark Souls 2. It kind of just reminded me of all the Dark Souls games, but less of that fantasy element, more of like a serious.
See, my theory is that Deep Down will become Dragon's Dogma 2. That's what that was.
Yeah.
I'm excited for actually Street Fighter 6 is coming out. That was just announced by Capcom.
I love Capcom, dude.
Dungeon Fighter Online is coming out with
Dungeon Fighter?
A DFO Duel.
I've never heard of Dungeon Fighter.
So Dungeon Fighter was like this crazy popular like Korean side-scrolling beat-em-up MMO, but they actually made a fighting game by Arc System Works, who are the guys who made like Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball Fighters, and whatnot. And I beta tested it on PlayStation. It was kind of horrible, but it was only because like I didn't realize I'm stubborn. Like I'm spoiled by a lot of PC fighting games, so I'm not used to all the input delay on consoles. But the PC release is coming out soon, and I'm really excited to give that another shot. Because it was a pretty sick fighting game.
There's actually
people who made Marvel vs. Capcom as well.
There's a lot of games I'm excited for this year. I'm really looking forward to God of War Ragnarok. I think that's gonna be really great. I'm also.
Unfortunate is that I won't be able to play it. I just can't. I cannot want or find a PS5.
Well, it's on PS4 as well, just so you know.
Oh, I'm not playing that game on PS4.
That's fair. Yeah, that's really fair.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Actually, for anybody who's trying to find a PS5 or a Series X, I can actually help you out a little bit. There's this guy on Twitter called Jake Randall. I would suggest following him. He is this guy, and that's all he does is help people find the next gen and tell them like where to do in drops, and that's actually how I got mine.
Oh, there was one more, and I don't know if it's actually going to hear anything surfacing this year, but supposedly there's going to be a new Fable game being made.
Yeah, no, that is confirmed. It's a new Fable game. Who knows when it comes out, but it is being made.
Yeah, I'd love to see a new Fable. Alright, I just have one more question for you gentlemen, and then we can just wrap this up. I'm just really curious, as we've made quite a bit of progress in our wait time. Like years, but it's only been like 2 years, maybe 2 years and like a quarter. How was your wait then? Was it arduous, or was it like too much, or did it just like fly by?
It got really intense.
Yeah.
It got really intense at around the network test or November when they actually started showing the game.
Yeah, that's when the
Before
training
then-
wheels really started
before
running.
then, it's such like a weird, a distant thing that it's like we know nothing about. So it's like a cool concept, but you don't, know much.
Yeah, I agree, because they announced the game at like E3 2019, they showed no gameplay, and then we literally didn't hear of it for like another 2 years.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just
I think the way they did the marketing tactics, and I think it was really, really well done.
Oh no, they pulled it off. Obviously.
Yeah. I think with the wait, I think of the early days with like all that like hollowing and stuff. Like I was like barely in and out, like lurking, but like I don't know like contribute or anything. But like that was like fun, like just the idea of like making all these characters and stuff for Elden Ring and whatnot.
I will agree. The network test is when it became a thing for me, because up until then I couldn't really get excited for a game I hadn't seen any gameplay of.
Yeah, I was in
And then when the game actually like was announced and like when November struck, that's when it like was like, oh shit, like this is like
This is fucking cool.
Like this before when they showed off or talked about it, it was basically the same thing as like that. What's called Black Sun Wukong, that game that's been teased for like 8 years in a row to be some sort of like Devil May Cry crazy game from these like devs in China, and then you only ever see trailers of it. Like that's what I thought Elden Ring could be like. I thought it was just kind of like me, like it's not actually gonna come out, and it's coming out tomorrow. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's serious. So you guys gonna be hopping in as soon as you possibly can on Elden Ring?
Absolutely.
For me, it's gonna be midnight.
For me, it's gonna be 6. Isn't it 6 o'clock DST?
Yeah.
Yeah, PST, let's go.
It's gonna be 5 o'clock for me, boys.
I would come home from work, make my characters for 3 hours.
3. That's the first boss.
Honestly. Yeah, honestly, creating the character.
I'm actually really interested to see more about the character creator. We haven't seen a whole lot of the character creator.
That's actually a good. I heard it sounded like you're trying to wrap things up, but if you don't mind me asking.
No, go for it. Go for it.
What are y'all gonna do for your characters? You got like a character idea? You got a name for them?
Oh yeah, I go by. I've been building this character for a long time, and this is a character I've used in Dark Souls 3 because I'm really into like the RPG element and building a character. So my character's name is gonna be Shortcaster Carry, and Shortcaster is a term for the types of spells that I'm use. They're just really quick and cast like fast, as opposed to like really long casting spells. And I always like focus on. I'm gonna do a full magic build.
It's very meta. You don't go with like an in-game Bartholomew the Wise.
Yeah, I did in Dark Souls 3. I did. What did I do? I did. What was that one land? Oh, I did like Zeke of Londor or something like that. I forget what the name was. Yeah, but I always do like really like RPG, like really heavy RPG element vibes, stuff like that. I never just name my character like Derek or something.
Yeah, of course. In the whole thing.
What's... I can just... It's funny that you mentioned that, because you just be like...
A character and the likeness of myself in a video game.
It's funny you mention that, because you're just like, what is your name, Fahrenheit? Jimmy?
My name is Paul.
Paul of where? Rhode Island?
Paul of Londor.
But no, usually I use my name when I make a game and I play this kind of game, because my name is actually kind of out there as it is. Kind of fits the theme.
It does. I like it.
I actually have a tradition. Like my first character with every game, it was a random name I came up with at the time. I'll type it in the chat, but it's called. I name him Lord Genesis, but it's not spelled the way you think it is.
Is it spelled like Hennessy? Oh yeah, it is.
I spell it like that.
Just call him Lord Hennessy.
And I don't ask. Like I said, I don't know why. I used to make a lot of random one-off shoots of stories, so I just got really good at just random names.
As for what my character usually looks like, I usually try to go just for like the standard knight look, beard, long hair.
Yeah. Basically what mine is. He's like jet black hair, long, like he looks like a hobo.
I like to see the before vibing on it.
What was that?
I always just wait for the options. I get in there, see what's available, what kind of cool hairstyles. I don't usually have
Beards are better.
That is true. It looks like from what I've seen, there is going to be a considerable overhaul of the amount of options in the character creation.
I'm thinking of I have two possibilities. One is the character on my logo, my profile picture. Her name is Gigi. I thought that could be fun. It's kind of a pun because it stands for good games.
Like G-I or
yeah, G-I-G-I. Yeah. So it's like good games, also goth girl, because like my stream is called Think Goth Fighting Games. But the other one I was thinking was I'm going to be running a wretch, right? So I'm thinking of naming her Gretchen, spelled.
Fucking Gretch the Wretch? Really? Gretch the Wretch.
Please do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
So I think Gretchen's going to be the first character.
Dude, that sounds like a fucking... That sounds like a TV show, Wretchin' with Gretchen.
To be honest, if you're going full wretch, then do Gretchen, please, for the love of
Yeah,
God.
like I always name my characters different puns or like based off something I'm doing. Like for example, I ran a Dark Souls 3 build where it was a lucky build, so I named her Chanceuse, which is French for lucky. Or I have in Smash Bros. You can like customize your Miis and make characters for it. So I named one Greta, which is short for Regreta, because if you're playing a Mii fighter, it's like regret.
He Browner kind of went off.
Yeah, also, for Dark Souls and for my strength build, I had a girl named Anjali, which, like, kind of sounds like angry, because she's just a strength build who just smashes shit.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so, like, that's what I do. I like to, like, have, like, punny names for my characters.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm going Gretchen tomorrow.
I do that with my strength build. I do Lord Bonk. That's my strength build.
Yes! All hail Lord Bonk. May he send you to horny jail.
Yeah.
Well, this has really been fantastic, gentlemen. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. It seems like each one of us are just super pumped for the release
Thanks
tomorrow.
for having us on.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on, as always. Like, I really love talking to each one of you guys. Everybody has something new to add, so I really appreciate all you guys for that.
Oh yeah, I'm loving this.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was awesome being on here. I'm kind of new to this whole thing, so.
I mean, we're all kind of new. Yeah, we're all. Yeah. Well, I'll see all you guys later, and you guys have a nice one.
You too. Enjoy the game, y'all. It's finally here.
It's finally here.
It's finally here.
It's just one sleeps away.
Okay, so I cut recording, so we're good. Yeah. Dude, we were talking for 2 hours and 13 minutes.
And
We
we
could have talked for more.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's nice.
Damn.
This is a long podcast.
I bet you couldn't even imagine it.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine what the game's gonna feel like, dude.
You can't.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine the kind of conversations we're gonna have when the game is actually fucking released. We're gonna be like, oh,
I'm gonna blink inside the. I'm gonna blink while playing the game. It's gonna be like 10 hours.
Yeah. Where the fuck did my life go? What happened?
If Wolf is going north and Jin's going east, I guess I'm gonna go west.
Well,
To-
no, you can still go east because I'm going east underground.
He's going like.
Oh, you're going east underground. That's true.
Yeah.
But like,
All
I
I
was
know
going
is
west.
I'm going
You know?
to the snow region. That's all I'm doing.
Okay, then you want to go north.
Probably north. That's where Wolf belongs.
So who's playing on PS5?
Me.
Kieran.
Okay, so for the rest of us PC players, sorry, I really didn't mean to exclude you like that, but I got you because I do that. Yeah, we definitely gotta link and play together. But I definitely got you too, Kieran, because I'm gonna play on my PS4 later, and then we can link on that.
I would like to make introductions. Let's end that stream. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. See you in a bit.